never be able to, move ahead, because you're obstructing your progress because of fear. If you don't take risk in business, businesses are meant for risk. You have to take risk in business. And if you can't take risk in business, you better not venture out to start your own business. You better serve an organization. But what I'm telling is, even when you're serving an organization and are in senior positions, you still have to take risks. Right? But take the onus of the risk you're taking. Again, responsibility comes with risks. Responsibilities come with duties. Responsibilities come with rights. And we Indians many a time fail to realize this. So much of freedom, so much of so many rights. But then what do? We misuse it. We misuse it. So anyways, when we talk about choices, I think it is extremely important that you take a decision on what you want to do. And if you don't, then you stagnate. I have seen students after graduation not sure about what they want to do. They would waste 3-4 years not doing anything, just planning about, I will do my IAS, I will do my IPS and whatnot, and 3-4 years goes like that without doing a thing. And the fourth year they wake up and they come for a PGDM program. And companies here do not want to touch any student who has had 4 or 5 years of experience, because they are looking at freshers, clean slate, or max to max maybe 2 years of experience. So you get into that trouble, right? Choice. But anyways, if you're able to still realize, I made this mistake and I'm learning from this mistake, that I should not, take long to make my choices, that's a learning. Instead of brooding all through your life that I didn't do that, I didn't do this, and remain in the past, you have to always be in the present and move for the future and take the best learnings out of the past. That's how you have to make your life. So I can go on and on. I love these life lessons. Um, so Chandler is another, management thinker who found firms tend to grow in a predictable pattern, including the areas of volume, geography, integration, and product and business diversification. And all this happens only because of structure and strategy, both in place. You have the structure, but you don't use the strategy, you stagnate. But if you have the structure and if you have the bandwidth, then you put in the strategy for expansion, for volume, right? For diversification and so on. Structure forms are used to implement strategies including simple, functional, and multidivisional. So these are the questions that I've put in your um, in the assignment that I've given you about specific company. Like I've taken, I think, SBI, and I've taken from different sectors. So each one of you will do a different sector and talk about that particular sector on what kind of um, organizational structure they have and how do they implement their strategies. So as I spoke, there are three main structures. Simple structure is a flat structure, owner, manager, right? Few rules, limited tasks, limited task specializations, unsophisticated technology system, a very small, maybe a SME, which has a very simple structure. This second is functional structure, where you have, specific functions that govern the organization. Um, that means the decisions are made again department wise, function wise. So you have the marketing function, you have the operations function, you have finance function. So you have different functions, and each functional area will come out with their decisions. And all of them actually taper towards the CEO, who kind of borders around the various functional strategies. And multi-divisional is more applicable for conglomerates, okay, which have different SBUs and different. When I say SBUs, I'm talking about strategic business units, and each of these units again have their own structure. So it's a multi-divisional structure. It's called an M-form structure. So these are the three main structures that we are talking about. And I think the companies that I've given you are quite large, so they may have also mixture of structures. They may have maybe functional, multi-divisional as well. And then you will have to talk about why multi-divisional and why functional. But if you look at all these three structures, again, they would have to look at strategies which are pertaining to either business level strategies or corporate level strategies, right? So when we talk about business level strategies, we are talking about cost leadership, differentiation, a combination of cost and differentiation. And when we talk about again, um, uh, I would say corporate strategies, we are talking about specialization, we are talking about centralization of authority, we're talking about formalization. So these three, which also could be a combination of functional as well as corporate level strategies. So, if you look at again structural characteristics, the features of structural, it is specialization wise, centralization wise, and formalization wise. What is specialization wise? It it depends on the kind of job or the quality and the quantity of job that is being done. You know, the specialized work, the competency there. When we talk about centralization, we are talking here about how decisions are taken by the organization, whether there is a centralized decision process. So many a times, if you look at large organizations, so let us take the example of ITM itself, right? So ITM Business School, I head the school, business school at Navi Mumbai, but we have again different schools. We have different B schools at different locations. We have two universities. Then we have health science, fashion technology, design institute, um, hotel management, and so on. Right. So if you look at all of us, um, there are certain things that are centralized, and there are certain things that are specialized, okay, and there are certain things that are formalized. So for us, all the three hold importance. So when we say centralized, our policies related to HR, our policies related to projects, our policies related to finances come from the headquarters. So that's a centralized procedure. When we look at specialization on a larger scheme, we are called educational institution, but each of us have our own specializations, right? So the B school specializes in management, hotel management specializes in culinary and other expertise. Then you have health management, health institute specializing in nursing, optometry, and paramedical courses. So you have each of them having their own specializations, which call for specific job requirement, right? Specific profiles, specific again specializations of people and expertise of people. And then when we talk about formalization, how formally these rules and procedures govern your work, how is that formalized in the organization, right? How that structure is created in order to formalize. Like for instance, again, let me come back to how we do it at ITM Business School, where we have say an administration general manager, I have an accounts general manager, I also have a projects general manager, I have an IT general manager. All of them report to me for operational function. Okay. So for operational responsibilities, they report to me because they are taking care of the operations at ITM Business School. At the same time, they also have to report as a functional responsibility or a functional reporting to headquarters. So it is formalized that way. They report to headquarters. We have a project vice president. We have in the finance, we have CFO. In administration, we have the project VP. Okay. And then we have, HR, we have CPO. So if you see, all of these sit in the corporate office, and for them, there are people deputed at various campuses, and they would have a formalization happening by them reporting to these heads at the headquarters. But that
Ma'am,
is
I have
functional.
one question. May I ask?
Please, please.
Yeah, the question I do have is, like, what about decentralization, the antithesis, because of the online mode and the virtual thing? Will decentralization become the new centralization in some degree, or would you just see it only as centralization?
Yes, Karthik, it's a good question. Again, it depends on organizations. Okay. For instance, say again, I go back to ITM's example since I've been talking about it. A lot of decisions are decentralized, while there are some decisions which are centralized. Okay. And let me talk about how Alibaba functions, right? And all of us know that Alibaba is a Chinese company. All its decisions are only centralized. How rigidly centralized is also is what I want to talk to you, because we used to have some of our students interning at Alibaba, but none of them would be absorbed, and the interning also would be out of would be a very stringent controls applied for that interns. And I mean, I have had an experience where I've invited their top bosses to campus, and they're not able to come to the campus unless and until the China headquarters approves that they can go to the campus and deliver a keynote address. Can you see the kind of centralized rigidity in this organization? So let me tell you that every organization has its uh, own form of organizational controls and structure. No two organizations are the same. And when you talk about decentralization, total decentralization will not happen for organizations. Decentralization it's like laissez-faire, isn't it? It's like laissez-faire. You kind of may not even know what's happening there. So somewhere along, some portion of it will undoubtedly be centralized. So
I
how
mean,
much
yeah,
of
the basic tasks and all will be on decentralization, but things that do have a direct impact on the company, I think that won't be given to the hands of
exactly? Yes,
someone.
that's true. Right. So an act like scheduling sessions cannot go to headquarters. It remains in our campus. Right. So lot of such activities are again, campus directed, or the decisions are solely by the campus. Headquarters is not involved at all. But there are certain things that are very formalized, like an employee is traveling. That's a formalized one. What is it that would be given as a travel allowance, or what are the kind of hotels they would stay in, how would they stay, all this, the policies are all formalized. So digital is not going to change much, because there is always certain security that is that the company enjoys because of centralization, and companies wouldn't want to let that go. But yes, centralization to the extent of what Alibaba was following was something very strange, and it was very different from so many other organizations that I have communicated with. So that was pretty different. But usually, companies do have a balance of centralization and decentralization. I hope I answered you.
Yes, you did.
Um, if you look at this particular chart, you can see all the functions, right? There will still be some form of centralization. You will have a centralized staff, but then you will again have, engineering, marketing, operations, personal, accounting, all of them separated out. And there would be some connect to the top. I'm not going into the depth of all this, but yeah, this I want to touch upon because I've asked you to also explain. So when we talk about multi-divisional structure, we are talking about maybe cooperative firm, strategic business unit, and competitive firm. So what do we look at when we say cooperative firm? So what is cooperative firm? Can you see this chart, which is self-explanatory, where you have a headquarters? Okay, then you have probably them divided into two major parts: government affairs, legal affairs. Then you also have corporate R&D, labs, strategic planning, which is all going to the president. Okay, reporting to the president or the CEO. Strategic plans, corporate human resource, corporate marketing, corporate finance. This is how we function. And then we have the divisions: product division 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5. Okay, so this is a cooperative form of multi-divisional structure where you have, of course, we have our CEO, but all this again, if you look at R&D, if you look at strategic planning, this is all at corporate level. And then you have different product divisions. So again, we are looking at multi-divisional structure, which is an SBU form, strategic business unit form, right? So here you have the same types. You have headquarters, maybe CEO or president, and then you have different departments and departmental heads. And then you have strategic business units. Okay. And these strategic business units, again, are connected to the headquarters, that is the CEO. And these units again have different divisions, different branches. Like take the example of PGDM. PGDM itself is an SBU, right? Or the B school is an SBU. The B school again has got three divisions: Mumbai, Warangal, Chennai. So you would again have, SBUs, which will have divisions. So this is what is a multi-divisional SBU form of. So you will also see some kind of, you will look at companies which have got probably all the three. They have a cooperative. They also have something like the SBU form. And they may also probably have something like the competitive form. So what is competitive? And why do we call this competitive? Any guesses?
Ma'am, they try to analyze the competition within the market and
Mm-hmm.
how well their product is performing and what is the customer feedback, and they work on it.
But do you think others don't do it?
Ma'am, every organization does it.
Then why this is called competitive form?
Ma'am, because they are increasing the competition in the market, ma'am. And they are always in the competition that their product will outperform other companies' product, and that's why and they also manage the customers' feedback and compliances.
Anyways, I think I must keep some mystery for you all to read. Please read this uh, and understand all the three forms. Also understand the simple, functional, and
Multidivisional.
multidivisional. Okay, so go through all this. Based on this, do your assignment. Your assignment is again concerning different companies, and I would want, is the CR there?
Shreyas.
Yes, ma'am.
Who is this here?
And for operations, I am.
Okay, Shreyas, you're the CR, right? So I have put in an assignment which says 7 groups. So what I want you to do, Shreyas, is now itself go to the assignment, put on the chat how you want to divide the assignment between the whole class. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
without bias.
Ma'am, for all.
Yeah, for fintech, ops, and
Okay.
FM. You want any help, you can take somebody. Teja, Shubhajit, one of them.
Yes, ma'am.
So they could also peep into the assignment and you could probably discuss and then put up the assignment on the chat as to how you're going to be dividing between them. Otherwise, this chaos will remain and they will tell me they didn't do the assignment because they didn't know in which group they are. So the last 6 minutes, I want you to do this and put this up on the chat so that everybody knows what is it that they need to do. I hope you understood, Shreyas.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, I think so. I have the previous group for semester one, and these 3 classes were mixed at that time, so we can use that group as well.
Use it.
Ma'am, one more suggestion. Like we had a similar assignment for the ethics subject, where we divided all together all the groups. So we can continue with those groups only if there is no objection.
You found your choice there, is it?
And no, ma'am.
You are allowed to pick your group. See? Right?
No, ma'am. Just suggestion.
I understood. So, okay. Teja is quite a sincere student. He has been very regular in my classes and I am now compelled to listen to him. So, Shreyas, we'll go by that business ethics idea that he has.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
So, Teja and Shreyas, I think, talk together and put it on the chat as to who will do which company. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
So, you have each other's number?
We are connected, yes, ma'am.
You can either call or plan, but I want it in the chat before I sign off. So that's the end of this session and you will do the assignment and I want you to present the assignment in the next class. That means next week, okay? So I will see your assignment being presented next week and that will determine the marks also for the assignment and presentation.